Hello and welcome to another EU5 video. This time we're going to be having a look at the Mamluks of Egypt. And the start of this is going to be a little bit of a celebration, I guess one could say, again of the terrain map mode. Because right now we're seeing what I think is probably the best Egypt in any Paradox game. Just looks-wise, because for a long time, Imperator has stood up there as the absolute pinnacle of what Paradox has ever managed to do when it comes to a map, right? The Imperator map was just the best. There is not really any kind of argument there that I will accept. It just was. It is, and look, Imperator Rome stay winning, right? However, I think this might be the first time where I'm putting something ahead of it. Because, well, Imperator came out, and it had the best map. And then after Imperator came out, CK3 came out. And people were lauding, CK3 map and all that kind of stuff. But, in my opinion, Imperator still really was the superior map, and it especially showed in places like the Nile Delta and also in Mesopotamia. And I will show you a little bit what I mean by that. So this is what Egypt looks like in CK3. Obviously, the graphics are down, so you can't. This is the best image I could get without loading up the game, and the game crashes for me right now. So, yeah. But we have these, two branches of the Nile up here in the Delta. It just doesn't look great. And again, I recognize that this is somebody who's taken this picture for his mod, and it's pretty low graphics, right? He must have had to turn down the graphics. But even so, it just didn't look great. And then if we look at it in Imperator, and for a long time I said, this is the best looking map. Obviously, this is old as well. It's got the old UI pre 1.2. Sorry, pre 2.0. But even so, this looks great. I like it. But I think this is better. I think EU5, at least here in the Nile Delta, has the superior map. Now, are there things that I would change with it? Yes, of course. I still would make rivers slightly wider, slightly more visible on the map. And roads as well are, you can see there is a road between Bilbeus and Kuyub and Canra. I don't know what this is supposed to be. But it's very, very invisible. It's very, very invisible. So I would basically make those roads slightly more visible. You can see there's a road here in Imperator's map, and it is visible. And obviously, these rivers had to be big enough for ships to sail down. That's not an issue in EU5. But even these slightly tributarier rivers that don't block movement, that don't have ships going down them, even these are much wider than what we see here. So I would just widen them a little bit, just a little bit, and I think that would go a long way. But we're not here to talk about the map anymore. We are here to talk about the flavor of probably the largest country in and around Europe. I know the Mamluks is not in Europe, but it's Mediterranean. It's Mediterranean. They're around the Mediterranean, whatever. But yeah, let's go and have a look and see what we have for today. By 1337, the Mamluk Sultanate of Egypt stands as the preeminent Muslim power of the eastern Mediterranean Sea, ruling Egypt and Levant from the splendid capital of Al-Kahira. It's Cairo, but I don't know how you pronounce it in whatever language this is. Is it? I don't think it's Arabic, but I might be wrong. I don't know. Forged. I guess we'll check here. What's their primary language? I don't know. Okay, never mind then. Forged in the fires of revolution and sustained by the swords of warrior slaves traded from the Caucasus, the Mamluks rose from the collapse of the Ayyubids, and under infamous leaders such as Baybars al-Jashankir, they halted the Mongol advance near Nablus at the Battle of Ain Jalut, and conquered the last Crusader strongholds of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Legitimized by these victories, a shadow caliph installed in Al-Qaira, their protection of the holy sites of Mecca and Medina, and enriched by trade, the reign of Sultan Muhammad Bahriya, something like that, has brought rare stability. However, the survival of the Sultanate depends on the loyalty of its fractious military elite and the looming succession crisis that regularly threatens to unmake this strong state. So, we have here the Mamluks, led by a relatively decent ruler, Bahriya. Primary culture, Lower Egyptian, primary religion, Sunnism, as expected there. 143 urban locations, almost 7 million pops, 146 tax base, able to bring forth an army of 89,000, and then 13 naval power, I guess. This is not levied navies, because if you levy a navy and only get 13, you're probably an ulm. Anyway, the majority of their population, actually no, the plurality of their population, 47% is Lower Egyptian. They also have very low percentages of basically everything else. Hang on a moment, you've got 7 million population. Yeah, okay, that does make sense. They've just got a lot of cultures in this final little block. Coptics, Levantines, Upper Egyptians, etc., etc. We also have majority being Sunni. We also have some Miaphysites, some Shiites, some Orthodox, etc. as well. And here is the bit of a zoomed out map look at all of our territories, stretching all the way to Tripoli and going all the way north to Syria. So yeah, you're going to be a very, very strong power here. Very strong indeed. And we also have the diplomat mode of it. Crazy levels of power here. Just tons and tons of land. Your population is huge compared to everyone around you. It's kind of crazy to think that this level of state lost its existence in a single war to the Ottomans, who start so much weaker than them in this period. But yeah, there we have the terrain map again, and I'm pretty happy with this. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. As stated in the country description, the Mamluks, a slave soldier caste, ended up ruling over Egypt and the Levant, becoming the ruling elite of the lands formerly ruled by the Ayyubids. The key content asset for them, therefore, is a unique government reform that unlocks a bunch of stuff. So we have the Mamluk government, lets you have more monthly army tradition, you can promote Mamaliks and build the Mamalik barracks. Promote Mamalik is something you can do in the parliament, and the barracks is a building here. Staffed by 2,000 slaves, can build in cities and towns, gives you 25 monthly manpower and lets you recruit regiments there. Required production method, you're using up 0.3 slave goods every single month, as well as some simple weapons, some cloth, some leather. Good stuff. Barracks that houses the elite slave units. These facilities are equipped with the necessary amenities that will assist foreign slaves in learning our ways, studying religious texts, and training to become a disciplined warrior. This is going to make the Mamluks incredibly powerful in the first era, before anyone else has professional armies, because you are able to turn slaves into professional armies, and you can attack other countries to basically enslave them, feeding your war machine, essentially. So this is going to make them incredibly powerful. The parliament request that allows you to promote Mamluks. Promote Mamluks, 25% is what you start out with. It's what it costs. So this is actually very different, because we have obviously all of these at 50%. This is what it was like when I was playing the game as well. But extra parliament requests being added in here, it's not something I even thought about there being, anything about that. But I'm pretty happy that that's somewhere else that unique content can go. 25% to promote a Mamluk. You get new Mamluk candidates will appear through an event. Okay, so it's a way to spawn characters, it seems. So that seems cool. Elite soldiers that are capable of prime positions in our administration. Mamluk soldiers and holders of the office are the backbone of our stratocratic administration and wield tremendous influence. The backbone of our army, some of the most influential members within our court, are made up of the Mamalik. Former slaves that were purchased or obtained from faraway lands, these are some of the finest men our country has raised. As soon as they're brought to Al-Qaira, they are provided lodgings and given good treatment, in stark contrast to their previous life. From then on, and once they convert, they are trained in many arts, the study of religious texts, honing their bodies, and mastering the ways of warfare. Through this process, men of merit and excellence are born, but some of which may eventually push their bid to the throne. So you can choose which character you want to raise up. Very cool, and you get a pretty decent character out of it. And Mamluk has its own trait, which gives plus 10% army morale and army reinforce cost minus 10%. Very, very nice indeed. Mamluks also have a unique set of laws, which policy options for each, of which I'll show today the starting one. So we have the Mamluk army law, giving 2.5% extra discipline. I'm not gonna lie, I still prefer the EU4 discipline icon. I think it just looks more distinct. This one doesn't really do it for me yet, but it is what it is. Also allows the following policies: Mamluk Sultanate. I suppose I pronounced that relatively accurately-ish, maybe. Mamluk al-Umara, Ajnad al-Halka, and Olad al-Nash. So be able to see what those policies are, I guess, when we get into the game. Unless, actually, no, they're saying, showing them here. So policy one that gives extra discipline. Oh, it just shows the starting one. Fair enough. So we'll only see this one. These ones, we'll have to get into the game to see what they do. Right. The Mamluk promotion law is a law that you can use that gives non-cultural levy size plus 15%, which is very nice for the Mamluks, considering quite a lot of your land is not of your own culture. So very, very useful there. And then merit basis. Wait. So, okay, this has active policy, but you could choose one of the other ones if you so desire. So yeah, we're seeing, it's like, oh, here, look at this promotion law that you can do. The active policy merit basis gives 15%, but also let's just show you what one of them does. The exact same one that we already know. I feel like that was a bit silly, but okay. We also have the Mamluk rank system. Rigid will give you noble satisfaction equilibrium of plus 5% and progress to aristocracy. And oh look, rigid gives you the exact same thing because it is the same. Like, I don't know. Look, why? What was the point of that? Either way. It allows to have a diverse set of policies to manage the situation and status of the Mamluk, but since changing it requires either paying a cost in stability or requesting the Parliament to make a policy change, changes of policy will require some thought. Also, a bunch of starting works of art in the country, such as the Makamat al-Hariri. We have the Kalawun Complex, the Great Iwan, Al-Karimi Mosque, and Al-Nasir Muhammad Mosque. As usual, unique advances, of which the most important is the ability to train Mamluk units in the early ages. Well-trained elite troops, these men have been honed to represent the best our people have to offer. Raised as slaves, purchased from foreign masters, they are disciplined and taught our religious and military doctrines, as they are expected to form the core of our standing army. Oftentimes, they come equipped with heavy armor and sturdy spears. Their unique helmets and presence in the battlefield is a terrifying sight for our foes, and these are the troops that we get out of it. So the only thing that you're getting out of it is extra morale damage done to your enemy, which is a good modifier, for sure. Requirements for maintenance. This is a new icon. I guess this is just maintenance icon, but yeah, that's a new one. Weaponry and leather, it's very, very cheap. And they cost 2 monthly manpower. Cool stuff. We also have the Reformed Mamluk. So when you get into the Age of Renaissance and these troops are no longer good, it doesn't matter because you can upgrade them to the Reformed Mamluk, which they also do just the same thing. They do the morale damage, but you know, cost you less monthly manpower, I guess. We have the Karimi merchants in the Age of Traditions, and it also requires you to have feudalism as well, giving you minus 10% trade maintenance. Really, really good modifier. We have Halka, which is in the Age of Traditions, also requires feudalism. Gives you the supply auxiliary unit of the Halka, which increases food consumption, but also increases movement speed over a regular auxiliary unit. I guess the movement speed is fine, so you could put this in an army and it won't slow down the army compared to regular auxiliary units. I guess, but either way, okay. We have the Kashif. giving efficiency of cabinet. Every time this modifier comes up, I will continually say how good it is. It is a very nice modifier to have. Masters of the Nile, giving prosperity and food production. Lifeblood of our Sultanate is none other than the River Nile. Traveling across our most fertile lands, the life-saving waters of the river grant us ample prosperity and wealth across our domain. Indian networks in the Age of Reformation, giving trade efficiency and trade range over the sea, I guess, because you're trading with India across the sea. Our merchants stealing goods from the markets of Alexandria to the shores of Aden and as far as India herself. Our grand network of contacts, business, and coin have positioned us at the forefront of maritime trade. We also have port customs, giving 25% extra market protection, and secure Mediterranean ports, giving plus 25% maritime presence. Another really, really good modifier. Of course, there are narrative historical events available to the Mamluks, such as the repercussions of Mansa Musa Keita. Obviously, the guy richest man in this period, or potentially ever, though I don't know if that's still true. And man, went on a pilgrimage across Africa towards Mecca and basically spread so much of his gold around that he increased inflation in a direct line from Mali to Mecca. And yeah, trail of destruction, but the destruction is gold, actually. The pilgrimage of Mansa Musa in 1325 was a great sight to behold for our people. What nobody was expecting was the generosity of the Mansa, who travelled through our land to reach Mecca. On his journey, the great Mansa gave away gold, gems, and other invaluable goods away to all kinds of people. While Allah may bless his soul, his actions have had unforeseen consequences for our economy. Our markets are flooded with Mansa Musa's gold, which caused its value to plummet. Nowadays, the effects are by far not as bad as many years ago, yet its impact is still noticeable. So you gain some money, you gain some gems, you gain some salt, but you also gain some inflation. And you also gain Mansa Musa's repercussions, which is another modifier that does something else, I assume? I don't know. And we're not going to see it, either way. We also have a letter from a king. A diplomat from the court of King Georgi the Brilliant Bagration of Georgia has arrived. Within the correspondence, the Georgian king highlights the need for cooperation between two countries in order to care for the Christian minorities within our domain and safeguard our borders from neighboring threats. There is merit in the words of Georgie, is what the book option is. And in that case, you gain pop satisfaction for all of your Christian pops. You get societal values towards jurisprudence, which is something new that we have not seen before. And we will learn a little bit more about it, but not too much. This is what was, I guess, not originally going to be called, but this is kind of like the legalism thing, but because legalism is already an institution, then they're going with jurisprudence as the name. It also creates an alliance with Georgia, and Georgia gets the event, the Egyptian Response. It's the Mamluk version of the Georgian event that they showed some months ago. We also have the Granary of the Mediterranean. The rich floodplains of Egypt, especially in the Nile Delta, remain the breadbasket of the Eastern Mediterranean. Our wheat feeds cities from Constantinopolis to Damascus al-Sham and secures our place in a vital economic and logistical power. Some in court suggest investing further into agricultural reforms and expanding grain production to ensure food stability and profit. So you can invest to boost production, or you can decide to go ahistorically and say that the current production is sufficient. Mosque Madrasa of Sultan Mohammed Bahriya. Recently commissioned by your ruler, a beautiful mosque madrasa sits proudly in the center of Al-Qaira, akin to a crown jewel. Its size is quite remarkable, a testament to the craftsmanship of our engineers. An inscription upon the wall of the building congratulates the chief architect for his brilliant use of innovative design techniques and care towards the workers, as none fell ill during its construction. Very nice indeed. Citadel of Al-Qaira as well, a hub of knowledge, enlightenment, and ample trade between the depths of Africa and the Mediterranean. Al-Qaira is the beating heart of our growing sultanate. The citadel has served generations of the most illustrious and prestigious rulers. Our current sultan has recently been presented with ambitious plans to expand the various facets of it that would involve new mosque madrasa, an expanded audience hall, as well as a center to manufacture kiswa. Very well, and you get... you lose money, but you gain legitimacy, and prosperity goes up in Al-Qaira by 30%, which is kind of huge. And you start constructing the Ablak Palace building, which is a unique building, I would assume. Increasing silk output in the entire country. which is very nice, and also cloth output in the specific location. Very nice. Illustrious domicile that serves the Egyptian rulers, this building is adorned in the most beautiful Ablak architecture. The holiness of the halls is used to produce a silk cover known as the Kiswa, which covers the Al-Masjid Al-Haram. You can also refine the Furiosas. I know that's not how you pronounce it, but I don't know how you pronounce it, so it doesn't matter. The Egyptian state has long relied on its unique military doctrine, the Furiosa, a set of chivalric practices rooted in both Muslim principles and ancient warrior traditions. Passed down through the centuries, this martial code emphasizes discipline, horsemanship, and close combat, serving the backbone of our forces. However, as warfare evolved with new tactics and technologies from both East and West, some among our military elite argue for refining and institutionalizing these principles. So if you make a better effort to institutionalize the Furiosa, you gain some army tradition, and you unlock an estate privilege for your nobles, the Umara, which gives monthly army tradition and progress towards quality. So that's a pretty nice one. Much more, but that's all for today. Next week, there's 3 posts. There's going to be on Monday, Tinto Map feedback for North America, which is something that I know Len, who I do the not No Speed, but 3 Moves Ahead podcast when we talk about this game, EU5. Speaking of, there is a new episode of that come out about a week or 2 ago where we actually interviewed Johan. That's available on the Patreon of 3 Moves Ahead. So if you want to watch that, I will link it down below. But you would have to pay for that. But we talked to Johan for like 3 hours, so it's a good time. But yeah, she is going to be very, very happy because she had a lot to say about North America being pretty bad. I don't know. I'm not North American. Either way, Tuesday, there is a flavor about Haudenosaunee and the North Americans. And then on Wednesday, Johan will come and present some of the more changes from feedback that they have done to the game. Because I believe EU4 was released like 13 years ago? Either way, it's its birthday soon. And I think that's why he's coming back. But, of course, before we get into any of that, there are some other things, like developer comments. Starting with this one. Since we're talking about Egypt, can we have the cultural, religion, and language maps of the region? So, yes, we can. Here is the cultural map, which is actually, there's a lot of stripes, which shows that there are a lot of minorities. But you can see, obviously, big block of Lower Egyptian and then Upper Egyptian there. Religion map looking very... Sorry, no, this must be the language map, which is showing Arabic as the main language. There's some Coptic here as well. Okay, good to know. Religion map, a lot of sunny. Yeah, it's just very sunny down there. And then this is one of the regions of the world that Pavia is most happy with the work. This is the religion map, and yeah, it's... Holy minorities. That's kind of crazy. It looks cool, though. Also, Motair is back. If you don't know what Motair is, there was a bit of a meme for a little while, a few months ago, where somebody made a post on Reddit saying that they're super happy because their ancestral clan of Motair is in the game and they get to play as their ancestors. Only to be told that actually no, in the latest map rework, Motair actually got axed and isn't in. They got very sad. They came up and there was a whole community drive to get Motair added back into the game. And to be fair, they came up with some good sources as to why it was a good idea. And yeah, Motair is back in the game. I guess it does deserve a screenshot of its own. And there it is. And I kind of, what I'm more impressed by is like, the map's looking real nice. Like, this looks cool. I like what I'm seeing. Texture wise, it's definitely getting improvements as time goes on. I'm a big fan. I think you should put some of the descriptions that Mamluk is the plural of Mamluk to make it clearer for those who aren't familiar. I guess there's like... People just gotta learn. How's the political upheaval following the Sultan Muhammad's death portrayed? It lasted until the 1400s and ushered in a new dynasty entirely, after all. So there are dynamic events at the end of each Mamluk ruler that portray its complicated system of succession. Okay. There are events portraying the Berber Hawara, and they're used to control Upper Egypt against the Bedouins. Apparently, maybe yes. The Mamluk class should remain influential in Egypt after the Ottoman conquest. How is it handled? Are the Ottomans encouraged to vassalize Egypt similar to the way they did in EU4 now, through dynamic mechanics this time? So it's up to the Ottoman player to try and conquer Egypt directly, vassalize it, or follow a completely different approach using the numerous mechanics of the game. It's a little bit of a non-answer, to be fair. We saw the Mamluk province in the AAI yesterday. Could something like that be prevented by having the AI avoid direct annexation of faraway land? There's some unintended behaviors happening after the Crusades and Jihads, and they're looking into them. If you don't know what they're talking about here, that is because you did not watch this right here, which is basically EU4 uploaded a video, and it was two little AARs, one of them being of Flanders into the Netherlands, and the second one being the Mamluks. So definitely go and check that out. I think it's they were, sorry, not the Mamluks, sorry, they played Naples. Mamluks on the brain. Don't know why. Maybe it's because of the tint of flavor. But yeah, they did an AAR. It's a great watch. You should go and watch it. Highly recommend. And I'm not gonna cover it because I don't really want to cover like videos. I don't know. It just feels weird. But definitely go and put a link to this in the description below so you can go and check it out. But yeah, good. Go watch this if you want to see, you know, Flanders and Naples AAR videos. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Where were we? Here. Does the Mamluks not start with any forts, or they just not show up at that level of zoom? So it just doesn't show up at that level of zoom. If you zoom a little bit, then you see a bunch of forts in the Nile Delta. Are there any Greek pops in the Mamluks? Yes, there are 10,800 Greeks in the Mamluks territory. I mean, considering they used to own it, but that was like a long time ago. That was in a different time, a very different time. Is jurisprudence a new societal value or reskinned one for Muslims? So it is a new societal value for Muslim countries. Little spoiler, which will be the last thing they share about it today, as they don't want to talk more about it until they finish some pending changes for Islam. So so going towards jurisprudence versus mysticism, there is a clergy estate satisfaction. We get monthly research progress and efficiency of cabinet. So jurisprudence seems really freaking good. We don't really know what mysticism does though. But yeah, maybe you can kind of tell by looking at EU4 and seeing what mysticism versus legalism does. That might be something to check out, but either way, cool stuff. No pyramids, not even a monument. There are monuments in the game. You just need to subscribe to the newsletter. I will say, I have done it. I did not get a email confirming it, and when I go to this link, it says that I am subscribed, but I don't think I've ever gotten an email about it. So there are follow-up comments to this one where they're looking into it. So yeah, I guess stay posted. And at some point you'll be able to subscribe so you can get a bunch of nice monuments on the map, which is always nice to see. Estates for the Mamluks. We have the Ulama, the Burghers, Commoners, Dhimmi, and Tribes. And the Umera as well, which was the nobles that we saw earlier. I'm confused by the existence of a parliament for the Mamluks. As far as I know, they were a highly unitary state where power rested entirely with the Sultan. Parliaments are a very specific form of government which doesn't make sense for a huge number of historical states like the Mamluks. This is a common complaint that I'm seeing, that, you know, not everyone should be able to use the parliament system, but I feel like the problem is more in just the naming of parliament, because even in the most absolutist of absolute monarchies, there is still a system of, you know, the ruler does have a council of people that they will, you know, confer with, you know, that as an absolutist ruler, you still need to have your lackeys, and they have opinions and influence and power and such. So, yeah, I disagree with this. I just think the problem is calling it parliament. The Mamluks have a council, a parliament type that only convenes the nobility and the clergy, and they know that parliament reads a bit weird in a country like the Mamluks. But one, it'll use the custom flavor name, the Mejlis, in all flavor text for better immersion, and two, they needed a common name for mechanic, so any player can clearly understand what this is about with any country, regardless of the flavor naming. I would say a council works better than parliament, just for the generic name. I would say. So yeah, clergy and nobility in, basically which estates have influence in your country. For the Mamluks, it's the clergy and the nobility. Makes sense. I believe when it comes to the Netherlands, they have one that is just the burghers in their parliament type, the Dutch parliament or something like that. Again, if you go and watch this this AAR, you'll be able to see that. I'm probably not going to be able to. Oh, there it is. Literally Dutch Parliament. Burghers in Parliament. That's it. There we go. I was lucky. But yeah, no, you'll be able to see different types of parliaments or different types of councils or different types of, whatever you want to call these. They're not as bad as people are making out, in my opinion. It's more of a mechanic thing than a than a problem, All of the estate names: Crown, Umara, Ulama, Burghers, Commoners, and then Dhimmi is there as well. Screenshot of the diplomatic map mode. We saw this earlier as well. I think this was added to the main post after the fact. But Mamluk starting allied with the Karamanids and Kandar is going to make Ottoman life a little bit harder, I guess. Although I suppose just taking this part of Anatolia is still going to be a huge power spike for them. And then finally, does the price of gold affect minting? For example, does the Mansa Musa event temporarily reduce your minting? It's the other way around. Minting impacts the demand and the price of gold. So that is what we're seeing here. 1.25% of your tax base is 183, and then you're minting 25%. No, look, lots of numbers. Look. Yeah, just lots of numbers. Anyway, that is all for today. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I am looking forward to conquering this. I'm not going to lie. Starting as a country this strong, even though it does have its challenges, that being a very multicultural society, a growing power in the north, it is still a country that I think is just a little too strong for my taste at the start of the game. But I'd be interested, is this a country that you are interested in playing? And if so, what are your plans with it? Do you plan to conquer all of the Arabian Peninsula, perhaps? Or go up and conquer Anatolia before Anatolia can conquer you? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like these videos, hit subscribe. Really helps me out. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.